It's so fucking nasty, and you made it the major point of contention, and now I have to learn fucking stats about women's sports. And now I'm your stepfather, okay? You're fucking grounded, bitch. They think I'm scared. I don't know what the fucking media is telling me, but some things are not all right, and I'm actually scared. Here, you want to know? You want to know what how normies talk about fucking trans people? Let's take a look.
What's going on out there? I'm trying to think of what I've been seeing. I don't even know, dude. I haven't been. Well, they have this all this, a lot of stuff with trans activism. You know,
you saw the way even Joe Rogan responded to the Dylan Mulvaney shit. Remember, you saw the way Joe Rogan responded to it. Let's see what fucking Theo, who otherwise sometimes has like some questionable takes, and my boy Stavy Baby. Have a conversation about trans issues. Let's see. These are normies for the most part.
Yeah, and it's got to be. But what is it?
What is being trans?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like, is it? I know it's men or women who want to be the other, right?
Yeah.
Or they feel stuck inside of they feel wrongfully convicted.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Convicted in the wrong body.
Right.
That's what it seems like to me anyway. Although some people just want to go, I'm neither. I'm non-binary, you know. I'm throwing on some overalls. I'm just hanging out. I'm getting honestly a haircut a lot like yours. That's
yeah, so many lesbians usually hit me up.
Yeah, but I think mullet is a pretty nice non-binary look.
Yeah. What do you think? Because there's a lot of companies now that are advertising stuff, right?
I mean, this is hilarious. Kid Rock. Just fucking chill out, Kid Rock.
I mean, Kid Rock's but he's also Kid Rock.
I know.
Fuck Bud Light and fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
Wow, you really showed them buying their shit and shooting it with guns, and then basically giving them an advertisement. Like everyone who likes trans people is gonna be like, "Damn, Kid Rock's dumb. I'm gonna get some Bud Light." Also, I didn't know this, but Kid Rock apparently grew up rich.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
Read him to filth, King.
Yeah. His family had a car dealership, I think.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I think what the thing about it, I think, is that the place that he's coming from is are they trying like what is? I just wonder what is the biz? What is there a business goal of it? Does it seem? That's what I'm just curious about it because it seems like an interesting move.
Yeah. I see. That's the thing. That's what I think is kind of been blown kind of crazily out of proportion is like trans people that I know, they just want to be trans.
Right.
They just want to like not be like killed. Like, cause that's the thing if you're like going M to F, if you're like born a man, you transition to female, it's like, that's like a lot of them like become sex workers. A lot of them like get like violence against them, guys who feel like they've been either tricked or like whatever, and it's like scary. It's like a pretty scary thing to, you know, it's a pretty like tough lifestyle, and they're just like, hey, I just want like not to be killed and to be like basically respected and to be able to go to like the doctor, and I just don't. It's such a low percentage of people too. That's what it's crazy to me that we're having this discussion.
That's the part to me is interesting. It's such a small.
That's the best normie adjacent commentary you can engage in. The fact that trans people constitute such a small percentage of people living in society, and yet conservatives constantly want to fucking hyper focus on them, make them look silly, make them look stupid. That's why I always utilize that. I deploy that as a fucking weapon against motherfuckers who constantly say, trans people this, trans people that, like constantly fucking freaking out over like trans women in sports, trans women in sports, trans women in sports. It is literally insane to talk about trans people this much, okay? It's insane. And for the record, that is precisely the reason why I fucking despised so many motherfuckers that thought like, oh, Hasan, you got owned by Christian Walker, when I said those exact same words to him and literally even said, do you know who the fucking second person was in the swim meet that actually got second place that lost to a trans woman? Do you know the third place that lost to the trans woman? No, you don't, because you only care that a trans person was fucking participating in the sport. That was actually a fucking absolute slam dunk. And yet motherfuckers literally were geared by their own debate lord daddies to think, oh man, that's so bad. That's such a bad fucking take. That's such a bad way to cover this on any other way to, it's the worst way to talk about it. No, it's not. It's the best way to talk about it to fucking normies. Not everyone is a fucking debate pervert freak like you. And most normies will go, you know what? It is kind of weird that these guys are constantly fucking talking about the genitals of teenagers and shit. What the fuck is going on? I will never forgive conservatives for making me have to learn about women's sports, dude. Never. I'm sorry. I don't even watch men's sports. It's so fucking nasty that you went and you made it the major point of contention, and now I have to learn fucking stats about women's sports.
And I wonder, are you helping trans people by like Bud Light? Like, is this the move to help? Because I totally understand what you're saying. Like, imagine if you feel that way, right? Imagine if you really feel it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think there could be a difference between people who really feel it, and also now if they're commercializing it or if they're sensationalizing it so much that a mind that isn't sure now adapts to it to like have a cause, because people can grasp onto a lot of causes, right?
For sure. And I think like with any kind of thing that gets a lot of publicity, you will have people that are like just unsure, will like reach onto it. And you will have, here's the thing, with anything that gets any traction, you'll get people doing it cynically to get famous, right?
Right.
But the way that there's like, it's like a 1% of people are trans, 0.001 of them are like these weird people doing it for attention.
Right.
You know? So it's like, that's what is crazy about these discussions is like,
no,
for
he's
the most
right.
part, what we're talking about is like,
he's literally right. Like, he's not wrong. He's talking about like an insanely small percentage of people that are going to be like Ollie London. You know what I mean? That's what he's talking about. It's like one person. Even like detransitioners, especially detransitioners who were like misguided or whatever, they constitute such a small percentage of the overall of the overarching like trans population that it is wild to me that they find new ones enough to cover it as much as they do on the New York Times. It is such a tiny fucking fraction. And a lot of the detransitioners aren't even anti-trans. So it's even harder to fucking find detransitioners that are also anti-trans. Like, they literally are doing the most, dude.
Let people have jobs. You know, like just let them have basic, the way I look at it, right? It was like, just let them go about their lives without facing discrimination. And like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
What do you care if somebody like was born a guy, wants to chop their dick off and be a girl?
Yeah.
Why does that bother you? And I do find it a little ironic where it's like, especially people that are talking about like, you know, like, not to get super political with it, but it's like the states that are very anti the trans shit. It's like you have people talking about how they want limited government, but then they're like, oh, I have to check your daughter's to see if your daughter has a vagina before. Like Florida was talking about a bill where they're tracking girls' periods to prove their biological female. And it's like
a Whoop bracelet or something?
Yeah. A Whoop strap. Florida, yeah. Oh. Ron DeSantis wanted one around like teen
around
girls'
waist,
pussies. Yeah. Inside of them. Damn. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be the one for like limited government, but we're checking girls' period? It's just like, or they made it like illegal to mention a period. It's like, dude, it's fucking crazy. And I'm just like, I don't get, like, I have some trans
I don't
friends.
understand why it's like, if someone's trans, let them be trans.
Yeah.
I would never be upset at anybody that's trans, or like, I would be very curious what it's really like.
For sure.
I would be very curious in today's world, what if someone is like just gay and they see an option to be for clout, or just totally straight and sees it, because there's such a it's such a like you know, a currency out there now that I could see that being some, but I don't say that to diminish if, because those people are also diminishing if people are really dealing with that. Like,
for sure.
I don't know. I guess I just wonder, is this the best person to introduce that to the world? Like, because a lot.
Exactly, bro. But listen, for people before people get mad, is the song gay for clout? Well, at first I was going to be gay for clout, and then I fucked your dad in the ass. And now I'm just gay. How about that? But so is your dad. And now I'm your stepfather, okay? You're fucking grounded, bitch.
A lot of people now are just starting to talk about trans, which maybe is good. But it's such a small percentage of people. I guess I just don't understand
Well,
is this going to be helpful to trans people? Because it almost, like if I'm a trans person, right, and my life is tough, right?
Yeah.
If I really am, because I believe that, I mean, God makes so many cookies, man. You could,
yeah.
something,
You
or
need to do a
nature
little-
could be also merging. You don't know.
Yeah.
And
I also think in like other societies, like ancient ones, people were kind of like in between genders, and other societies had like multiple genders.
yeah, look at
and,
Robin Hood.
Yeah, exactly. Those guys were in tights. Come on.
You telling me? You know what I'm
Somebody
saying, bro?
somebody threw on Maid Marian's dress.
Big John
You
was a
know?
bear, dude.
Yeah. There's this big backlash against trans people because I think it's become a conservative boogeyman where they're talking about like, drag queens, and they're talking about how drag queens are going to like groom your like they're calling gay people groomers and shit. And I think that's really dangerous. And I think that attention has come because trans people are being used as a political tool in the negative. Whereas like, I mean, dude, it's so funny to hear people talk about how drag queens are like, oh, they're so dangerous for kids, where it's like, drag queen, like, you think they molest people? Like, politicians and priests are up 2 million kids to 0 on molested drag queens. It's like
At least 2 million or maybe 1,000.
maybe like 1,000. Yeah. Maybe there's one. Yeah, there's one of them who was whatever. But it's like, still, drag queens are going to start having to do like flea flickers and like trick plays to get back in the game compared to priests, compared to politicians. They're the ones fucking kids. And it's like, it's just become this political ploy, But it's like,
So good.
I mean, look, that's a really great point, man. I think what I hear a lot of times that people are scared of, especially on the backs of like the vaccine and stuff like that. People are scared that, well, is this another reach where they're where the media will then use like a lot of like film, television exposure about gender uncertainty, and then to start to get young people to want to take.
What is needed in more interviews with trans people on these podcasts and on mainstream media? Here we have 2 straight guys talking about trans people with no representation to give input. Okay. Here are a couple things I will say about this issue as a straight white guy. While yes, representation is important, you are absolutely fucking incorrect if you think that a trans person in this circumstance, when they're talking to an audience of straight white men, is going to do a better job of advocating for trans people's existence than a trans person. You're wrong. It's just because the stakes are too high when you're trans. This doesn't mean that there aren't fucking hilarious trans people who could like delicately craft an argument. But someone like Theo, unfortunately, at this point, is not actually receptive to a trans person in the same way that he's receptive to his friend. Okay? Do you get it? This is something that I talk about all the time. Whenever trans people come in here and say, Hasan, what you're saying is wrong. Hasan, what you're saying is fucking silly. Hasan, what you're saying is like fucked up. You're not getting further, you're not diving into the intricacies of trans existence. I tell them, it's not for you. You're fucking trans. It's not. This content is not for you. You already know what it's like to be trans. I'm not talking to you. You already live with that every day. I'm talking to the broader audience. Now, you might feel comfort. You might get some talking points out of me that you could use in your real life. But understand that, like, I'm not targeting you. I don't want to change your mind. Your mind is already made up. You already live it every fucking day. Okay? So I'm using that as a jump off point here, but understand that like this content is really good for those in the margins, for the normies, for the fucking cishet white guys that are watching this podcast and going, wait a minute. Yeah, I love Stavi and he's making some good fucking points. Okay?
Like a gender blocker, right? Or
Yeah,
some type of a medicine, right?
Sure,
and I don't know enough about the medicine.
Yeah.
But I think when I look even how influenced I was, when I watched WWE wrestling, bro.
Yeah. If The Rock cut his dick off, you'd be thinking about it.
Dude.
We will be talking about Splinter Discord servers in a little bit, okay? All of you Discord users, you're going to get some today. Guess what? You make a Splinter Discord server, you might be going to fucking federal prison, bitch. but that's later.
Dude, if somebody threw my grandmother against the, if somebody just threw my grandmother against the ropes, I would have kicked that bitch's head off. That's how influenced I was by WWE, bro.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she was
absolutely.
going, it was over, bro. No amount of calcium pills was going to bring her back. So I think that's a lot of people's fear. It's like, man, there's so much influence over my children that if they start to use this chip, are they then just going to come in with another medicine on the back of COVID where a lot of people are skeptical about the vaccine now, and rightfully so. So I think that's probably that's a lot of the fear. But I think the molestation part, you're right. It's like, it's like, oh, you can't molest my kids. I'll let them, it's only going to be done by my own.
By my preacher. Not a guy with lipstick, which again, it's not like, I'm not convinced that the numbers are that big where it's like all of a sudden all these kids are transitioning because they think it's cool. I think it's so hard to do that. Like people would say that about like in like sports, right? Where like Leah Thompson, they were talking about that swimmer who like was trans and then was like a much better swimmer as a woman than she was as a man. The idea that you would cut your dick off to win fucking college swimming. You really want that bronze medal in college swimming that bad that you're gonna chop your nuts off?
I've said exactly those words. Or not those words. He's a comedian. He has a lot more liberty with the verbiage, but yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't know. That's like, and then have people like,
you'd swim faster without nuts.
Nuts might be weighing you down.
For sure, you're a seal.
But it's just like, I guess I'm not convinced that, like, I think a lot of this shit is just fear mongering for no reason. And especially when you see the statistics. Like I saw some poll, I don't know if like we can find it, but it was like, there's like a poll of shit of like the percentage people thought
we're
like,
trans?
A bunch of things, not just trans, but like a ton of stuff. Like how many people are Muslim in America? How many people are like whatever? And everyone overestimated everything. And that like, I literally think like a percentage of trans people in America is like 1%.
I think we looked up the other day, it was 1.7 million. About 5% of young adults in the US say their gender is different from their sex on birth. See, now this article sounds so delusional to me, right? 5% of youth, it could be, they asked 100 youths in Brooklyn, outside, but that's the thing about articles, you just don't know. But that kind of percentage, you see that. It could definitely make people think what's going on, and then you get, you get scared. The news is so scary, man.
I also think there's a difference between like fully transitioning and being like, hey, I do think there's a lot of kids who are like, hey, maybe I'm non-binary. Maybe I'm like, I'm not going to change anything medically, but like maybe I'm going to start, instead of being called Eric, my name is now Sock. And I'm half a guy, you know what I mean? Like it is, there is some change in that. I think definitely, I think I have more like young friends who are like maybe open to experimenting with gender in that they think, the way every generation has different radical ideas to older people. And I think that's another thing I try and think about is like, you don't want to be the old guy who's like, well, that's not right. That's not how I had it. You know what I mean? Like the part of me is like, I defer to young people sometimes a little bit where it's like, and some of this is like, people are going to find themselves and they're going to like settle down and it's like, whatever they might, those.
Yeah, he totally let the COVID shit slide because irrelevant to the point of contention there. And there's no reason to get on a tangent where he's going to be against them on an issue that like obviously Theo Vaughn probably has a lot of strong opinions on. So sometimes you got to do that.
Those percentages might like drop or whatever, but it's just like, I think this shit is kind of like fluid and like always changing, but ultimately I don't think it's dangerous. Like that's the thing. It's like, who gives a fuck if somebody wants to change their name or like be perceived as something else? I don't understand why you fucking care.
I don't think that. I feel like
Not
a lot of people
you,
probably
but you know
don't.
what I mean.
But I think if it came to a point where then a kid could go get, say if I'm 14, right? And I don't know how I'm feeling, right? Maybe I'm gay, maybe I'm straight, maybe women just don't like me, bro. I mean, there was times when I was younger when I thought that women didn't like me enough that I thought maybe I'm supposed to like men.
Dude, me too. I was like, maybe I'll just.
I was like, there must be something wrong with me. You know, that maybe, and in my head somehow I'm messed up. I'm not messed up, but I am.
Okay, what happened? Did you suck a dick? Are you gay now? No, exactly. That's the point. You end up finding out. That's it. That's literally it. Okay, that's how this works. Like a lot of people will think about like sexual confusion that they've experienced in their earlier days, right? And then take for granted their straightness as a default position, not realizing that like, no, you're just straight. You know what I mean? Like you did that. You questioned it and then you figured it out, which is exactly what most people go through. The entire part of the conversation actually revolves around the conservative effort to stop the other side from even existing so that when you do question it, you go, no, that's illegal. That's not allowed. I'm straight. I'm a cishet man. No, I don't even want to think about the other shit. So that, you know, you live a sheltered life of fear and you repress your sexual urges. You repress your desire to express your gender. That's the point. But of course, sexuality and gender is a personal part of your existence. And no matter what happens, it ends up rearing its ugly head if you try to repress it. Okay? That's how that works. That's why all the southern states are like the number one fucking states for gay porn and trans porn. You know what I mean?
I'm just not seeing things clearly.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and
for sure. No, I'm with you there.
So say if you're going through that and then you decide to, that's where it's like, I just don't like it when there's possibility for the drugs to get involved. That's the part for me that's like, man, I don't know. Because I got on antidepressants at a young age and I can't get off of them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so
for sure.
I don't know. It's definitely interesting. And I think, look, we've had some good thoughts about it,
Yeah.
you know, and some good like discussion about it.
And I will say just from like, I've hooked up with some people who are they, them, non-binary. I've gotten some excellent they, them pussy.
Damn, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, bro.
No joke. The best head I've gotten is a tie between two they, them people. It was awesome.
Damn.
Yeah. It probably traditionally appeared, you know, they if you saw them, you'd probably go, that's
that
a
leap
girl.
year.
You know what I mean? But still. Yeah. So shout out to, you know, they, them pussy is very powerful and it's out there.
The Lord's leap year, dude.
That's
it, baby.
Exactly.
And look, a lot of like Asian people, I think, are against this sort of thing. They're very like gender.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so funny you said that. Brother, Thailand exists. Like, what did you just say? But of course, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He's literally thinking like, I don't even know what he's thinking. It's not even just Thailand. Like the further out you go from Western involvement and Western influence, the more things are different. That kind of oppression, as a matter of fact, usually comes with like Western involvement.
Samurai or ninja.
Yeah.
You have
It's
to
like they're
choose
even
one.
starting to name their kids, I think, like him was one of the. Because like nobody's confusing my son. I just feel like it's such a sensitive topic for whoever's really going through that.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it's the right thing for a company to come along. I don't know.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
I
kinda
do
there?
know what you're saying. Like,
Or what I'm questioning.
Like he wants to resist it, but he can't even find why he wants to resist it. And at least he's open-minded and in the company of someone who's open-minded, that like he's being led to arrive at the correct conclusion in this circumstance. So think about why he feels the need to like resist that. It's like, who cares if a trans woman is on the beer bottle?
I don't know. It's hard to feel that out.
I understand the question. I think like I think anything that kind of normalizes a struggle that somebody's going through is fine. You know, is like, okay, like I see what you're saying where it's like it brings attention to it. And the negative attention to me is a problem, but it's like,
because beer companies have always been feminist leaders. The irony is I saw a list of like trans ads from like the 80s and 90s and shit. Again, it's the Mrs. Doubtfire phenomena. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't really give a shit in the same way. It's like very odd. This doesn't mean that like people weren't trying to murder trans people using like the gay panic defense or whatever. Of course they were. But like, it was not the same. It was not like it was not a matter of contention as it is now. What the fuck is trans advertisement? Like, trans people were in ads and shit. Apparently there was a fucking Bond girl who obviously wasn't the main Bond girl, but like one of the Bond girls in like 1989 or whatever was trans, dude. It blew my fucking mind. Did you guys know that?
it's on the people who are negative about it. Like, you know, I'm obviously very, like, I I think the real problems are the legislative stuff that's happening against trans people personally.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's making their lives difficult. It's making some people not be able to get like medical care. It's
Well,
it's,
insurance will find any reason not to give you anything.
well, that's the other thing is like, that's
unbelievable.
another problem with our country where it's like so many of our biggest problems come down to we don't have our basics covered in the richest country in the history of the world, which is so fucked up. Like no one should be fucking.
Well, it's not profitable. It's not,
Yeah.
it comes down to a bottom line. You
I
start to
know.
feel like a pawn, I think. I think that's another thing. It's such a time where everything that the media does feels like someone is being pawned that I think that just everything these days I feel like kind of makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah. I'm with you too.
Theo seems to have like no media literacy. I mean, welcome to the average human being's brain, by the way. Like that's most people literally mirror exactly what Theo Von is saying in their way of understanding the media, in their way of experiencing the world. They think I'm scared. I don't know what the fucking media is telling me, but some things are not all right, and I'm actually scared. You know what I mean? That's how this shit works.
Dude, I am a little. I'm
like, what's the
unfortunately-
shell game here?
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
I'm a little pessimistic about the course we're on in general, just because of like, global warming shit, but also like inequality in America is so crazy where it's like, yeah, dude. And I think a lot of the anger that you see in general, like even for some people, trans has become like a boogeyman. And it's like they're angry because, their family member has fucking cancer. Insurance doesn't cover it. Their job has been, their job is gone. There's no fucking, a train gets derailed. No one's fucking cleaning it up. Now they have fucking poison in their water. And it's like, these are all things that could be covered with like, if we held our government accountable and they just like, they had to provide basic needs for people.
Yeah.
But everything has gone kind of to shit. And it's like, it's easy to start disagreeing about the stuff that does not matter when you're just so angry because you feel like you're getting screwed, because we are getting screwed, but we're getting screwed by, in my opinion, big corporations, by everyone who's just like gobbling up all the money and making sure that it's like, wages having kept place with inflation, minimum wage. If it was like what it was in the 70s, now it should be like, like $40 an hour or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the root of all like our disagreements and all the anger here. And I think,
oh yeah, when people don't feel like they're not belonged to,
like they're taken care of, or
it
they're
used to
working
feel
too
like
hard.
you also, well, at the same time that you're kicking down the traditions of the country, and at the same time that you're taking away, like, or you're making it harder. I think, I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to not think about it. It's just a lot. I don't know anybody that is trans, and a lot of my friends don't.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm even
Exactly. That's where a lot of this shit comes from. If you ask Theo Von about like black people, because he grew up with black people in a poor ass fucking neighborhood, he actually has pretty good takes, right? But if you ask him about trans people, he doesn't know. He doesn't know a single fucking trans person. Like, he doesn't get it. The reason why I used the black people example, the reason why I used it is because there are a lot of people who sound and look exactly like Theo Von, right? That unironically grew up in neighborhoods. Wait, Theo Von is black? Wait, really? I did not know that. I've only listened to him talk about like how people are saying he is. I don't believe that. Anyway, maybe. I don't know. But listen, shut up. Just listen. That's besides the point. If he's black, then why the fuck does he have that famous bit about like, if my people did this to you, why the fuck would I be living down the street from you, dude? He has a whole bit. Anyway, listen. That's besides the point. The reason why I mentioned Theo Von in that regard is because there's a lot of people, okay, if you want to identify it from a perspective that is like more manageable, something that you do understand, there are a lot of people that are broke as fuck, that live in bumfuck nowhere, that do live in segregated communities, very far removed from black people, that also have similar perspectives. That's also part of the reason why the more you live in a city, the more you live in a diverse environment, the more you like interact with black people, for example, the less likely you are to be racist. Okay? because you now all of a sudden for the first time ever are not seeing black people just on TV. You're seeing them in your real life, realizing that it's not what you thought was like on the television. Bad tangent. Y'all are dumb. He's the whitest guy ever. Y'all forgetting racial construct. Bad tangent. It's not a bad tangent. I think I did a very good job of tying it back to the top of the hour ad break. If you're in here for as long as you've been in here, you know that the top of the hour ad break is coming. Okay? And you can avoid the top of the hour ad break as long as you subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. Or you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here is the 3-minute ad break. Now, MB Chaos, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. No, 10 gifted subs, as a matter of fact, allowing 10 people in along to see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. I hated it. I smiled at that. Yeah.
In LA 5 months out of the year.
Yeah. I have some French friends.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
we have one. We had a guest, Robin
Tran.
Tran.
I believe so.
So,
yeah.
and that is...
A little on the nose.
I mean, yeah. But Robin Tran is a comedian, and I don't know. She didn't have the surgery at that time.
Okay.
And then Joe Dosh was a male comedian, and he has.
I don't know. It's a little on the nose. Isn't she just fucking Vietnamese or something? Isn't that like a Vietnamese last name? I don't know. Don't get mad at me. This is coming from a place of love, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Joedosch. Fifi now is his name, and he got a transition.
Okay.
I believe. I don't want to talk out of pocket. Joe's one of the smartest and just really. It was really a captivating.
Yeah.
I don't know him as much as a woman, and I don't know if there's a difference between knowing someone when they are a man or a woman. Because, dude, that's a journey to go on.
Well, that's the
like,
thing.
I remember the first time we went to Florida when I was a kid, and I was like, this is going to be crazy.
He's going to do the bit about fat people losing weight. Watch.
Yeah.
But imagine every cell in your body being like, you know what I'm saying? We're going to San Fran.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to San Francisco, brother.
Or we're going to, Brooklyn, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably you probably just feel
Fuck, he was going to do it, and he didn't do it because he cut him off.
more, I would just guess
I'm not pre-watching. I just know this man. I know this man. This man is my brother, okay? He's my Greek brother.
you'd feel more comfortable. You'd probably feel like more yourself. You know, I can't speak to being trans, whatever, but, you know, I'm sure you're just like maybe even more pleasant to be around because it's like anything. Imagine like hiding something and then and also it's like a hard thing. Like a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people could be like probably in your family, like coming out as gay is hard enough. Imagine being like, nah, to like somebody who would have a problem with being gay. It's like coming out as 5 times gay. You know what I mean? Like going, I'm a girl. I'm so gay. I'm a girl. Like that's what like a, you know, like a,
like I'm chasing my own tail. Yeah. Like you're like the ultimate warrior of gays. Like bring up when the ultimate warrior came in the ring.
Is he really right-wing, or were you kidding earlier? No, man. Of course he's not right-wing. What the fuck? No, that's a meme because Daily Wire or Daily Caller cut up one of his bits to promote him as like a comedian shitting on like a liberal mayor, Lori Lightfoot. So that's why we just like joke and say that he's right-wing.
There was nothing like that, brother.
No, dude, it was electric.
Yeah. There was, when that happened, that changed the scene. Hope you enjoy.
That was very good.